Frank, hello there.
I am
How you doing?
good, thank you.
Good. Listen, many congratulations. Top four finish in your first season. It's something you can be justifiably proud of. Um, I noticed that Timo Werner was at Stamford Bridge today. I don't know whether you've had an opportunity to speak with him. What do you hope that he might have made of what he saw?
Yeah, he was here today, so I hope he would have seen a team play with a lot of spirit, a lot of professionalism. We saw out a job today, which was a potentially very difficult game for us to finish in the top four. And he would have seen maybe a moment like what Mason Mount did to break the deadlock, which is a problem we've had this season. We've controlled a lot of games at home, not scored and maybe conceded. So we have things we want to improve on, but hopefully he's seen that we have talent in the squad, a real resilience and a strong unity within the group, and then he can bring his talents to that. So hopefully it was a nice first viewing for him, and we'll look forward to having him next season.
You mentioned Mason Mount, scored one, assisted the other goal today. I think that's 7 Premier League goals in what has been his debut season in the Premier League. How pleased have you been with the way that he's gone about things, and can he get better? How do you see his future?
Oh, he'll definitely get better because he's so young. And I think sometimes when a player comes in and plays in their breakthrough year and stays consistently in the team, people maybe treat them differently, like they're older than what they are. He's still young. You saw his technique today for the free kick is a special technique. Only top players can strike balls in that way. But his all-round game for the season has been brilliant. His work ethic and how he handles himself daily in training is brilliant. So he'll get a lot better, and he's contributed a huge amount. And that's just the start for Mason in his career at Chelsea.
And listen, you changed your goalkeeper for this match. You said beforehand that it was just a choice, but Willie has come in. He's kept a clean sheet. Clean sheets have been an issue for Chelsea this season. Do you need to have a long, hard think? And perhaps do you have a big decision to make before the new season starts?
To be honest, Ian, I have long, hard thinks about everything, not just individual positions, but how we are as a team. The idea that we haven't kept enough clean sheets is definitely not just a reflection of our goalkeeper. That's something that we have to work on as a team, look at as how we train and maybe how we recruit generally going forward. But I don't want to pinpoint it on Kepa today. Kepa decision, as I said before the game, was a choice on probably recent form, or probably recent situation, a tough time for him. And I felt like Willie coming in with confidence off the back of his performance against Manchester United last week would be kind of what we needed today for the game. So I don't want to jump forward beyond the Arsenal game next week. It would be wrong. The squad are really strong at the minute in terms of the unity of how they are on and off the pitch. I want that to stay for one more week domestically. Then we had the Bayern Munich game. Looking forward to next season. What will happen after that?
It's John Cross, Daily Mirror.
Hello, Frank. Many congratulations today because of what the victory means and the season. I mean, listen. Being realistic, you've been quick to point out at times. Not everyone gave you a great deal of chance and opportunity to finish in the top four. So, what does it mean to you in your first full season as a Premier League manager to achieve that, to get Chelsea back in there where the club feels it belongs?
Yeah, I'm very pleased, John, and I don't want to start singing my own praises, if you know what I mean, because it's obviously the players that produce for you. And I've been saying a lot in the media interviews outside that there were a lot of unknowns, and unknowns I've gone over a few times this season when I felt they had to be said, I suppose. But you always rely on the group and the players that you've got. And now we've seen breakthrough seasons. We've seen players who were on loan and in the Championship last year come and perform. We've seen the stories of players like Giroud and Willian and Kovacic and Jorginho and people that have really contributed through the year. So it's always a team effort, a collective effort of staff and players. And I have to say that I'm proud. I always put like a little small brackets around that because it's Chelsea and we want to be challenging for titles and league titles. But we're not at that position now. I knew that going into the start of the year. I knew that to compete against not just Liverpool and City, but Manchester United, to compete against Wolves, who were there or thereabouts last year, to compete against Tottenham and Arsenal, who spent north of 100 million and really strong teams already. It was going to be tough for us. And the lads have competed. They competed. We've been inconsistent at times. We'll be honest and humble about that. We need to improve going forward. But at the moment tonight, we should be happy, I think, with what we've achieved.
Nizar Kinsella.
Hi Frank, well done on getting over the line today. Just wanted to ask, does this make your kind of summer and recruitment and things like that easier, because top four means a lot in terms of economics and just the prestige?
Yeah, I mean, in brutal honesty, I would say yes. Not to say exactly where that will go, because that's not a conversation for today off the back of the game straight away. We know, and I answered questions about before the game, that the economics of Champions League are big. We know that. We know that prestige, top players want to play in the Champions League. The top players that are here already and the young players will want to play in the Champions League. And to get too far ahead of ourselves and concern about what it might mean from the outside is not a question for today. It's a question for the players that produce today. That can improve anyway. We can all improve, myself included. That's what football's all about. But yeah, if we're looking to recruit in certain areas, then I think it may help. That those are conversations for after Arsenal, after Bayern Munich, and see how we go. Because now we've had a good year, we want to do better next year. So we'll try and better ourselves in any way possible.
Ollie Harbord.
Hi Frank. A lot's been made obviously already of the players you're bringing in, but Olivier Giroud has scored 7 goals since the restart. To have him for another year is looking like a bit of a steal, really, isn't it? How pleased are you that he will be around after what he's done since the restart?
Really pleased, really pleased. Ollie has to take all the credit from January onwards. We all know he was not playing so much in the first half of the season. Tammy played a lot. I was never unaware of Ollie's talents, but that was just a circumstance at the time. But to have the personality and strength of character and pure talent to come in and affect things like he has since before restart of lockdown. He started before that. He's continued in restart. He's always been big in the training ground and in the dressing room for me, but I don't want to talk about that too much because we have to respect the talents. To score the goals he's scoring, players love playing with him. He's a reference point for the team in this period. So yeah, I'm delighted to have him.
Okay, last two. We'll go with Sammy Mockbell and then Nick Purell to finish.
Hi Frank, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's your final season your first season in the Premier League all over. What will you take away? What have you learned? What are the main sort of couple of characteristics that you've learned about yourself?
That's quite a deep one. I mean, in terms of myself, I've the year I had at Derby made me learn that this was definitely the role I wanted to be in. Because before, when I had my year off from football in the media, it didn't really grab me enough. It was a nice job. I enjoyed parts of it, but I wanted to be back in. And then when you get the job with Chelsea, the step up in terms of expectation is huge. The level of player, the demands to win week in, week out, and that's been tough. And probably in terms of how you always want to improve, I'm pretty obsessive on myself and how I want to work. And I think on that sense, I probably learned that I need to get the balance right going forward in terms of being able to switch off a little bit myself. But my desire to be successful is so big that I can't help wanting us to get better and better. So I've learned a million things in a plain and simple answer. And I'm humble enough to know that if there are things that I might feel I can improve on, I'll try and do that, because all I want is success for this club. So it's been a tough year, but I've enjoyed every bit of it. It feels like we have an element of achievement, getting in the top four. We have one huge game coming next week, but all I can think of now is the next thing.
Okay, last question. We'll go to Nick Purell.
Hi Frank, just on Azpilicueta, obviously been your captain this season, and he's seems such a level-headed guy. How important has he been for you and what you've achieved in staying level? And obviously, among defensive difficulties, he seems to have performed very consistently.
Yeah, I mean, Aspi, to coach or manage a player that you play with is a very different situation, and it's been very easy with Aspi because of how he is. His level of performance and his level of impact on the group day to day as captain of the club, I can't understate it. It's been amazing. His performances in recent games, his performances for a huge part of the season, his defending today, his attitude, his application every day, it's an absolute standard for any young player that wants to look. And so the players within the club can really understand it. He's an epitome of the club. And I think the unfortunate thing at the moment with us this season is, for everybody obviously, but as Chelsea, we don't have our fans in the stadium. Because when you have a player like Aspi, it's the one that the fans react to and go, look at that, because that's how we feel about Chelsea Football Club. So Aspie is that, and he's the captain, and that's the good reason why he is. And on that note, not having fans here for us, I think for me as manager of the club, it's important for me to say that it was a moment I would have loved to have enjoyed with the fans at the end, because I think we've been very together this year. The support of the fans in sometimes inconsistencies and difficult times has been huge. I want to thank them from afar, because the way we play and the achievement of top four is for them first and foremost, and we look forward to having them back. And the squad for what they've achieved, and Aspie's the captain of the club, so he's been huge. And on another note, and I'm sorry to shoehorn my own part into an answer to a question that didn't relate to it, but I want to talk about Pedro, because Pedro's played his last game for the club, and the lads have just pretty much serenaded him in the dressing room, and rightly so, because of the career he's had generally, and because of the career he's had at this club. He's played his last Premier League game. He came on off the bench, but what the impact he's had here has been huge. And I want to make a big thank you to Peds and wish him well as he goes forward. Obviously, he's here for our remainder of games, but a big player for the club that leaves, and the spirit I saw from the group afterwards was something that I think is pretty special.